How do you feel about it? You don't need to tell me, but reflect on how it has been for you. Do you feel dizzy? You hated it? You never be able to keep up with the pace? Or you think it is too slow or boring? Or you think it is mad? Like kids having a class? Whatever you feel, it is valid. So it's a great way also to be aware of your feelings, of what is happening right now. You might not like it, but you got to be honest with yourself. I don't want to do it again. I like it. I enjoy it. It's helpful, or it is not helpful. So that's all might be in your mind, but you acknowledge how you feel. I've been telling stories, but anyhow, I'm just going to tell you again, those of you who heard it before. And when I first time that I went to Ayya Seri's retreat, actually in Safety Bay, a weekend retreat, she did this, and I hated it. I hated it because when I arrived at my first retreat, I do not know all the sort of routine or things that I need to do for Theravada tradition. I came from a Mahayana tradition, actually. So I was rushed to the weekend retreat, and I was really tired. So I need to take a rest. So I stick my feet out because I'm not used to sitting cross-legged on the floor. And I didn't know that I shouldn't point my feet to the shrine or the teacher. That's exactly what I did. I just stick it out. I don't know where my feet is facing. All I want to do is to relax and take a break because I rushed from work to the retreat. And Ayya Seri, she's actually very strict with her training to the nuns as well as to the lay supporter. So she pointed me out. I was wearing a red T-shirt. She said, "That lady in red, do not point your feet to the shrine or the teacher out of respect." I wasn't happy because I'm full of the sense of self, say, "How dare you," like the Mara. I didn't say anything because I was still polite enough to be quiet, but in my mind, I just say, "How dare you?" I took my weekend retreat. The weekend, I normally work weekend in pharmacy because you get the most money. And I don't have family, so it's okay to work weekend. So I said, I took unpaid leave, so I got to sacrifice 2 days of pay, and I took another half a day off as well, so that I can rush to, I live in close to the city, but then rush to Safety Bay. It's a fair way to drive, an hour, I think, but I work north of the river. Safety Bay is south of the river. So I got to take the half a day off so that I can get to the retreat center on time. So I said, I make all this sacrifice, get here, and being told off. So I don't like it. So the whole retreat, I was really rebellious. One of the things that I show my rebelliousness is during this walking meditation. So Ayya Seri explained like I did, and then we all started to walk. When she did hit the beat really fast, I didn't know what you all did. I just concentrate on my walking so that I can hit the beat according to my walking. Hopefully you can follow it. But when she did that, when she hit really fast, I purposely walk really slow. When she do it really slow, I walk really fast. So of course, it's not, she didn't notice that. Probably she did the same thing like I did, just focus on hitting the beat. But the rest of the people, especially one of the lady behind me, she said, she don't know why this lady, in a matured age lady, can't even walk according to the beats. She's a teacher. She said, my year 7, I think probably standard 1 here. This is standard 1 here? Today you have standard 1? Year 7 in Perth. She said, my year 7, year 8 students can walk according to the beats. She can't understand why this lady, it is me, who could not. So until I told the story to Ayya 𝑦𝑦𝑎 later on, and she said, "Oh, that is you." I say, it's not that I couldn't walk according to the beats. I just did it on purpose. So there you go. Even though you think that whatever that happened in your mind, I still can end up to be a nun. So anyone still got a good chance. I haven't told you all my naughty story. I'm pretty naughty at the retreat. Once, if I got a chance, I will tell you. So I think it's a good way. Well, I did it last year because on the 1-year death anniversary, we have a meditation day. So I try to pull out all the tools that I used to learn from Ayya 𝑦𝑦𝑎 in a way to remember her. But then some people told me that they like it. So I decided to do it at the weekend retreat. And then I thought, probably I'll do it here too, to have fun. Because to bring a little bit of fun in our practice, the practice of meditation or the practice on the Eightfold Path is not dry and boring. All of us should enjoy our practice and should have a bit of fun with it, even with meditation or walking meditation. Of course, once our mind gets settled, we get more serious. But before it gets to settledness, sometimes it's a bit boring. Because if you sit all the time and walking all the time, there's a routine going on, and especially when you are new, and you feel like you're not going anywhere, but at least you enjoy it, rather than get into making the bad karma with the practice. So making good karma with the practices, you enjoy it, you relax, you like it. Making bad karma with the practices, nah, I'm not going to sit anymore. No more meditation day, no more retreat. So that then you will not come back again and again. So the idea is, I hope you will come back again and again to the practice. And this is a meditation day. Those of you who haven't tried a weekend retreat or a 9 days retreat, or even some people spend 2 weeks or even 3 months at Jhana Grove last year. So you might think about, possibly, I can take it up. So that is something that for you to reflect on. You do not need to come to tell me, but you can come to tell me 10 years later when you become a monk or a nun, you say, I remember you. That's what I told Ayya. Before I start the next sessions, I actually want to share with you some reflection. I went from Perth to Kuala Lumpur and Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. I spent 2 weeks in KL. Before I left Perth, I knew that what I want to do during the 2 weeks, I'm going to spend all the time with my mom. I'm going to give her my time. And my family, my brother and sister-in-law, they are Catholic. Especially my sister-in-law, she's a staunch Catholic. So I'm mindful of it, and I'm sensitive to it, so I couldn't say anything about the Buddha. So there's no mention of Buddha for the 2 weeks I was in KL. And even I tried to talk to my mom, I did talk a little bit. I talked to her about meditation a little bit. She's 84. And she's familiar with the Chinese chanting of Namo Tassa. So I actually even recorded that in Mandarin for her. I'm trying to encourage her to use different way so that she can have a bit of a stillness, even 5 minutes. So that's one thing that all of us got to be aware of when you're so enthusiastic and excited about meditation. Not everyone really take it up, with open hands, or especially the older generations. Chanting might be a better way for them. So that's what I did to my mom. At this time, I actually recorded 2 different ones. The other one is, can't remember the name in English, but Guanxin Pusha. So my mom just very familiar with that. So I chanted that for her in Mandarin as well. basically the encouragement for her. But I couldn't say or anything about Buddha, Dharma, Sangha to my family. They have no context about it. Even my brother has twin boys. They even asked my brother. He said, oh no, or my mom, I can't remember one of them. He said to them, I thought Dad has a sister. How come she don't have hair? She's like a man. So they have no context of what is a nun or monastic in Buddhism, because they are Catholic. So it's just interesting. And for me to came from, so for the 2 weeks, I did chant, because I stay in my brother's another place by myself. So they have to come to pick me up every morning and rush me to take me to dana, so that I can have dana before 12, which they keep on complaining. They say, your religion, this is now 20th century or 21st century. You should advance with the current situation. Nobody is free to offer food to monastic before 12, he say. You got to eat whenever this is available. That's what their comment. But he's still very kind and makes sure that I eat before 12. And I also in a situation where I just joined. I didn't do anything. I just stayed with my mom and just be with them. I could see how busy their lives. You know, they got twin boys. So my brother got to pick me up. Luckily, he's got a small business. So he do not need to go to work at the time because he's the boss, he say. So he basically go to work in the afternoon. And he can arrange his meeting early in the morning or after 12 so that he could attend the meetings, so that he can basically take me to dana, which is very kind. But I could see how busy their lives. I suppose some of you come from the same situation, because he told me that he said, this morning, got twin boys, they got to take the boys to tuition, maths tuition, Chinese tuition, and they learn ukulele. So they got their boys, and then the school start at 1:30, and then by the time they come back, they're going to go and get takeaway, and so they feed the boys, and they go to eat, and then go to send me back to where I stay, and then that's the day, and they start again the next day. So that's what happened to them last 2 weeks. But I say most of the weeks, every day, minus me. So then I came here. I must say, the difference made me feel, I was quite nervous and worried about coming here to give, share this weekend of a teaching before. I was talking to Leha like 2 months ago. But after the 2 weeks when I came here, I feel so comfortable and at ease, because I'm in the Dharma. I'm with the Dharma and Buddha Dharma. I've realized like how comfortable and at ease it is. I've forgotten all about my nervousness, I must say, because I appreciate, when I talk about Buddha, I got so many people to resonate with me, rather than I try to not to say any word about Buddha, because I don't want to get into argument or discussion with my family. We just keep the religion out of the question, just be the family. And with that reflection, I also encourage you to this afternoon, put all your presentness to be now, because after the retreat finish, you're going to go back to your busy life. You might think that I'm mad just now, but to me, the life is quite crazy, like from my brother. I know that all of you will be busy like him, he said he don't have a choice because he got to work. Because he got 3 boys. So one boy is in Melbourne, 21, but the other 2 boys is only 8. So he said he got to earn a living. And then he got my mom and got other things that he got to do. So there's no chance to be relaxed. I try to encourage him to relax. Talking about retreat, I can't say it twice because he's very negative about retreat. He say, how can someone got time to go for retreats? He said, those. So I could not say much more. So on all of you here got the opportunity right now, so treasure it. And I treasured when I came here. I said, wow, I feel I'm home. Even though before that I was home with my family, they treat me really well. They actually spoiled me. But the fact that I can't say anything about Buddha Dharma, I feel so strange. And there's no reference point of that. And probably someone like me have been a nun for more than 20 years is very different. And I never spent 2 weeks with my family. So being there and watch what is going on, to be an observer, I could feel the busyness and the stress of life. It's not that I'm not busy. When I was looking after 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎, I was really busy for the last 11.5 years. But I still have that support of the Buddha Dharma and Sangha. That makes all the difference. So I encourage all of you to remember that. That makes all the difference because you have a reference point, you have tools, you have precepts, you have all the Eightfold Path to follow. So after saying that, I'm going to go back to what we have been reflecting on, the power of goodness. When I was reflecting on it, I just want to share that with you so that you seize this afternoon, be very present, whether you like it or not liking it, just be open to the practice and treasure the time you have here. And I must say, yeah, I'm going to share that how I felt about how comfortable I am here, especially come from seems like another world to me, to Dharma, and it is very nice. So I've been talking about the 5 precepts. These sessions I want to go into, I might be over time a little bit. I hope you don't mind. Okay. That's good. Because this session I want to go into much more about how to practice the goodness. You know, we have seems like a paper saying that not harming living beings and actively cultivating loving kindness, not to take what is not given. But the Dharma actually is alive, not on just paper. So I got lots of story to tell, which is my favorite part to share with you. Some of the stories, the way that we can use the precepts, or how do we practice. And you must remember that just like meditation, the precepts of goodness, you need to practice again and again and again. Sounds like a lot of repetition. It is not, because you can put it into your life, every moment, whatever you do at work. And just like me, came from in Kuala Lumpur, I could pull out my mindfulness, I make sure that I stay at the present moment, to be with my mom and my family, not to judge, and make sure that be mindful of not to mention the Buddha, because that's a skillful way to deal with people who is non-Buddhist. And so the same thing for you. So one of the story I was talking about, how to actively cultivating loving kindness. So, all of you have been kind. Someone gave me a cup of tea, someone offered a dana, and you can kind and generous with your friends, a smile. Or someone, we were talking about the talk last night, someone was saying that, their neighbors went away with a sick neighbor, the next door neighbor, being taken to the hospital in an ambulance. No one went with this lady in the ambulance to the hospital. And she mentioned that she could see the fear in the lady's eyes, that who's very sick, because they feel being abandoned because no one went into the ambulance with them. So she was suggesting that anyone, please go with your family or even friends if you know that they have nobody. And this lady actually say that she at least managed to tell her neighbor, saying that, don't worry, I'm coming to visit you in the hospital. It's just a tiny act of kindness, even kind words, will make all the difference to someone in that case who is feeling the fear and anxiety and don't know what's going on, the next step for them. I was told that this lady passed away 2 days or 2.5 days later after being taken to the hospital. So that's something you can practice, loving kindness and gentleness. Or just the fact that, after the retreat finish, you have to put your cushion away. That's an act of kindness that each one of us can do. I got lots of stories to tell, but I'm going to tell one of my favorite stories. I actually wrote it in I wrote some stories about my encounter or my interaction with Ayya Vayama. So this is one of the stories I've written, but you can hear it live from me. Rather than just read, when you're reading something, it's a bit dry. But this is a story that I titled as Spiders in the Web. When I talk about practice again and again, and practice with the small things, when the really big challenge in life happen, then you know that it can overflow into your life, in other parts of your life. So this is a story, not a story, actually, something really happened. When I was a younger nun, after either end of the rain ceremony or end of the rain ceremony or entry into the rain ceremony, I can't remember. I was in one of the rooms in the nun's cottage at the monastery. So I was with Ayya Vayama. So we are collecting, you use all the spoons and the plates and the plastic plates. So one of the way we practice how to put in a part, play our part in the limited resources is we wash all the plates, even those plastic plates, and then we dry it, and we leave it outside to dry, and then after that we count 10 in a pile and put into a plastic bag, and then we keep it into a big box to be used for the next ceremony. So I was packing with Ayya Vayama, even the spoon, so we dry and then count 10 so that we know how many to take out, because there's so many. But at the time, it's still early days in the monastery, so I don't think we have that many people at the ceremony, 200, compared to whatever the number now. But we still count. We can count them and pack them away. So while we were working in the room, suddenly we heard. I was working with Ayya Vayama. I think late in evening, probably 8 or something. We heard this buzzing sound. I have no idea what it is. So both of us turned around to look around the room to see what is happening. Then we noticed that there is a fly get caught in the spider web. Next time, if you heard something, check it out. And so when we saw that, I just turned my head around, continued to count, do my work. But Ayya Vayama, she stopped. She go and she took a chair, a wooden chair, and just underneath the spider web, she climbed up. She actually took the spider away, the fly away. And the spider, of course, is not happy. But I did heard her saying that, sorry, spider, I got to take your food away. So she took it down, and she is very gentle. She could manage to use her finger to remove the spider web around the fly, and then she took it out, the sliding door, and just released the fly. I remember the fly flying away, flew away, with so much joy, and it brings so much joy in my heart at that moment. So it leaves a very strong impression in my mind. But then we have a bit of a talk, just two of us there. So my mom was saying, yes, it's a difficult situation. What she did is took away the food from the spider, but the fly is crying for help. So what do you do? So she's really kind. She could hear the crying, and she just dropped her work and she took the flies away. And to me, of course, it left a very strong impression in my mind, because there's a kind act. So just take note. This is just a trivial, seems like small things, but 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 have been a nun practicing for a long time. She took the time and energy she took the flies away, and imagine removing the web away from the spider. It's like operation. But I must say, when I stayed in Jana Grove last year, I think in about March at the time, of course I still thought of 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎, because I've been with her for so long. I felt the loss, because of course I miss my teacher, especially in the early stage. And guess what? I heard the buzzing sound in Jana Grove in my room. So because of the impression I have, quite a way back, it could be 10 years, the difference. But I remember her, what she did. Because I was thinking of her, so I dropped what I can't remember, probably reading, because the lights was on. So I dropped what I was doing, and I climbed up. So I took a chair. So I did exactly what she did. Climb up, took the flies away, and I even said to the flies, I'm sorry, because the spider was looking at me really angry, staring at me. But I say sorry, so I took it down. I told the fly that I say, I'm not as gentle as 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎, unfortunately. I will give it a go. And on top of it, I did have my new pair of glasses just 2 weeks ago, but at the time sometimes I can't see at night really well. I got my prescription is very high, so I have difficulties in seeing properly. So I say, that make the task more difficult. I say, I'll give it a go. I'm sorry if I can't do it well. But I manage. I can see how difficult it is to remove the web from the fly. But I did it as the best I could. But when I took the fly outside, it flew away. I can tell you that that moment, it just brought me greatest joy. One, I could follow what my teacher did. And two, I felt good because I saved a life. Yes, we might take away the food from the spider at that moment, but we cannot, I cannot at the time too, not to turn my back away to the screaming sound. To me, it's a screaming sound, the buzzing sound of the fly. It feels like saying that, save me, save me, save me, someone. Imagine that it is us, that we are in difficulties, we are screaming for help. It would be nice, someone come and help us. So that's exactly how I felt at that moment. This is a great example, not just about loving kindness. It's a practice as well. So we take every small thing that we can do as a way that we can practice the 5 precepts. In this specific example is the loving kindness. But 2, you need to practice again and again with small things. So flies, you might not like flies, but at least you don't have, I hope most people don't have really dislike. You might be able to try cockroaches next time. Not from the spider web, but you might say, okay, I make a determination today. For now, I saw the cockroach. At least what I could do is you can use a plastic container, just put it on top of that spider, and then put a cardboard underneath, and you can take it outside. So at least one time you started our journey of practicing the first precepts. So you just need one experience. They say, I can do it. It's not that bad. I must say, I also have experience at chasing the cockroach around in some other creatures, I can't remember. And when I put the plastic on top, I sort of like injured the leg. So you feel really bad about it. But then gradually you sharpen your skill. Then you say, I make a determination next time, if I can't put it properly, I will not do it. I know I don't like it flying around or crawling around, but I will leave it because I don't want to injure it either. So that is a suggestion for you that you can do and take it home. That's a possibility. More story. Another story. When I first ordained, I think first time I went back to see I ordained in 2004 as a 10 precept nun. So I went back to visit my family in 2008. All those time, I probably about 6 years or 7 years, I didn't visit my family. So for the first time when I visit my family, of course they cannot understand the 8 precepts, even worse at the time. So they would take me to a Japanese restaurant, but they do not open before 12. They say, well, what we can do, we can book a room. No one will see you inside. Then you can just eat. No one will know. At the time, my answer to them is say, but I know, you know. And of course I say in Cantonese, I say, the sky know and the earth know that I didn't keep my precepts of not eating after 12. So it is not that no one knew that, what will happen if I eat. It seems to be trivial to some people, but I must say I'm those stubborn people. And when I first ordained, I do not know, well, can't say kindness or whatever, but I'm quite inflexible. So I keep it as straight as I can because there's something that I can hang on to, the precepts. So I told them what I say, so they didn't take me to the Japanese restaurant. I must say this time, something quite similar happened. That's like 20 years down the track. And I was in the car, then someone bought me a coffee today, and my family wanted me to drink those, the coffee from the kopitiam. So they bought, my brother would think that, oh, this is a good coffee from that particular place. So he stopped the car and went in to get the coffee. That's 11:45. But he bought it back in a packet, but ice, luckily. Then he said, well, the kopi-o is not nice. You need to drink with the white. So I say, okay, but it's 10 minutes ago. And my mom said, doesn't matter, just a little bit over time. I must say I didn't determine about the sun is not exactly at noon, so we have allowances. But at the time, I didn't think of all those things and check it out. So I just take 12 o'clock as my point. So my mom said, it doesn't matter. I didn't say anything. I did finish my drink. Then my brother said, 1 minute to go. But I said, yeah, I've already finished. But I'm bringing this up to encourage you. It's not just the precepts, it's the promises that we agree on, even with no one else, with yourself. But you know that you have promised to do something. a promise to keep the precepts. If 1 minute over, just my mom say, only my mom and brother know. No one else will know about it because we were in the car. But I knew. Because keeping the precepts, the goodness, give us the confidence and strength is inside our heart. The wealth is inside our heart. It's not for anyone else. You can't show off that. That is your own confidence, your own wealth. No one can take that away. Just like the good karma that you make. You can lose money on the share market or lose money in the whatever gambling or in the house market or whatever, but you can't lose the wealth in your heart. That is what the goodness we are practicing. And we are gathering our muscle, gathering our good karma. So nobody can take away, like if I talk about Eileen, doing all this, organizing all this as a volunteer. No one could take away her good karma that she make. But we all can share in. She can share in the good karma. That's why after each practice, we normally chant the sharing of merits. We would like to share. But remember, whatever you share, you probably get 98% of the good karma. And you share 2% with whatever beings. No matter how much you want to share, the person who is doing the action yourself is the one who has the most benefit. But it's still very nice to have, let's say you're sharing merits with your parents or someone who is sick. At least if 100 people sharing the merits, your 2%, they probably accumulate over 80%. As such, if there's calculation in that way. So so I encourage you to do that. And I'll just go back to my story that I would like to share more stories. Another story I want to share with you, when we talk about not to tell lies and actively cultivating speech that is kind, honest, and bring people together, and not to take what is not given, and actively cultivating generosity. So this story is not about cultivating something, but not to do something. When I was, remember this morning I was telling you this, the fact that 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 asked me to look into my precepts when I was wanted to become anagarika, trying to make the precepts as pure as possible. One of the things I did is in the pharmacy that I work in Perth, they normally have a photocopying machine. Each time you need to put 20 cents, you need to pay 20 cents per copy for the any photocopying you do. So I make a few photocopies at the pharmacy, so I went to pay for I work there, but I went to pay from I'm not the owner, so I need to pay for it. So I calculated, 5 copies or whatever is $1. But those people work there saying, no, they are not the owner. Just to make sure that they are not the owner, they say, no, don't worry, don't need to pay. But they are not the owner. Sometimes they do that because they don't want to pay for it. They want to make sure that I don't pay, so that we're all in the same boat. But I insisted, because I'm trying to practice the 5 precepts. I'm trying to make it as pure as I can. That's at that time that, to me, $1 is nothing, considering the wages that you get. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to practice, not to take what is not given. Of course, if the boss come and tell me that, oh, you don't need to pay, then I will not need to pay. But it wasn't. It's one of the assistant who was working there. So just share it with you. Something seems like trivial. $1 is nothing to a pharmacy that they have it's a loss of taking in one day, but that is still our own practice that in the heart. So each time you do something again and again, you are flexing your muscle, not just going to the gym muscle, but muscle into the practice. More story? What's the time? Okay, I'm going to tell more story anyway. One of the stories I'm going to tell is, well, I'm just talking about, we talk about generosity. That is the dana that those of you who offer. That is practice of generosity. And I'm going to share one final story. I'm just looking at what story 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 has lots of help when she was really unwell. But I'm going to share with you that, some people might ask you, why do you do that? Why do you, spend all this time looking after 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎? I have been, throughout the time, the receiving end of her kindness. One of the kindness I want to share with you is my grandma was very sick one day, so I live in a separate part. I received a phone call at 1 a.m., on 12 a.m., saying that my grandma was in the hospital. They need to consider a surgery. She was 98 then. Generally, we don't want a surgery at 98, but the surgeon or the doctor say at the time, if we do not operate on her, then she will die of severe pain. She have a perforated duodenum, so somewhere in the stomach. So 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 was up at 12 o'clock. So I asked her, like every one of you, that if you don't know what to do, you go and ask the monastic. So I did the same thing. I asked my teacher. I said, what should I agree on the surgery or not? So we have a chat. So the principle is we want to reduce pain. So we agree, because she either die on the operating theater, the table, they're going to do keyhole surgery, or she's going to survive, which is great. If not, she will die on the table. At least she don't have pain, because she will be under general anesthetic. At 1 a.m., I need to rush to the hospital, because I would like to see my grandma, because she might not survive. And just like we said earlier, I also would like to offer her fearlessness. She will feel that she will not be abandoned. I want her to feel that she have the love, at least from me. And 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎, at 1 a.m., she was sick, she's in the wheelchair. She came with me. Because I can't go out, because I might not be able to back at dawn, then I will be out of the nun's residence during the time that's not desirable. So she said she'll come with me. And we knock on the door of the person who we live with. We live at her place as guests. So we don't want to disturb her too much, because she's already in her 70s. We say, can you please pay the taxi? We'll call a taxi, because we can't handle money. So at least you pay the taxi, then we can go all the way to the hospital. I think it's the Charles Garner, so to take us, I think about 50 minutes. It's midnight, so 50 minutes without traffic. But she actually came with us. So all three of us went to the hospital. So I pushed my 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 in the wheelchair all the way to see my grandma. I didn't do the chanting, because my grandma is in great pain. But I want her to see me, to know that I'm there for her. And she calls 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 Sifu, because it's my teacher. So she calls her Sifu. So she will feel the ease to see both of us there. So she went into the surgery. I can't remember, she came out probably about 5 or 6 o'clock a.m. We was there all this time, sitting in the waiting for her to come out from the surgery. And 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎, even though she was sick, she was with me all those time. So I just sharing with you, even though someone was sick, she still can practice kindness and generosity. She still can be there for another person, me and my grandma. Of course, I feel good that I have 𝐴𝑦𝑦𝑎 with me. I think there's more blessing power. So I'm very happy that she was there. And the other lady, her name is Jackie, she was with us as well. So 3 of us, and actually my grandma's support worker was there as well, which has become a friend. So 4 of us stayed whole night. And we left the hospital at 7 a.m. After her surgery. She was taken into ICU because she's still unconscious. There's no point for us to stay on. She seems stable, so we left. And we got to carry a taxi. I got to fold her wheelchair and put it to the back and then get her in and all those, all the work that we need to go into. So I'm just sharing with you. You can see that even someone is sick, she's still practicing kindness, let alone us who is well. So take the opportunity. Whenever you can, you see someone that need your help, your friend that is not well. Just to say, are you okay? Listen. Or say, I know I can put your name to the chanting. That's what people do in Perth. Or someone contacted me before. Can you please chant for this person? Then you tell your friend that I can put your name to the chanting. Your friend feel good about it. That, someone care enough to contact another person to put their name on the chanting. So it's small, even small things. So don't look down on every single thing that we do. 2 o'clock. I betcha. So I'm going to stop here for the reflections. We can talk about some more. There's another session to go because I would like to have some time to lead the guided meditation. So this is just a few examples for you to take away. And I encourage you to use the positive aspect of the 5 precepts in your life. That gradually give you the power, give you the strength, the inner confidence, the strength, the wealth in your heart. You will take that wherever you go, even the time that on your deathbed, or even as we believe in rebirth and karma. It will take you like good investment compared to any other investment, shares or whatever investment you do. That is the investment in the power of goodness, is your highest and biggest investment in samsara. So there you go. So you can take a break, and I'm going to lead a guided meditation. Take a break means you can't, you need to go to the bathroom, please do so.